Welcome to the 46th annual meeting for Amherst Media. My name is Artie McCollum, and I am the acting president of the organization. Thank you for joining us for our annual meeting. I know that a in-person meeting would probably be more exciting and enjoyable, but given that we are still in a global pandemic, we are doing this to stay as involved and connected as we can with all of our members and supporters. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate this. I know that the board of directors does as well. A brief run through of the agenda so everybody knows. We're going to do the welcome here, and then we are going to do some pre-recorded videos of yes, so we'll do a brief introduction here. We will do some pre-recorded videos of the president's report and the treasurer's report. We will come back and do an introduction of our 3 new board members who are going to be joining the board. And then each of those members will be introducing themselves. And then we have pre-recorded videos of the executive director's report, as well as the presentation of the Jean Haggerty Award to Drs. Carlie and Gary Tartakov. And then we will sort of end with the final position. So that's the scheduled agenda, and that's where we're going to go. So thank you all for joining us, and we will go to, again, start some pre-recorded videos from the president's report as well as the treasurer's report.
Welcome to the Amherst Media Annual Meeting. My name is Artie McCollum, and I am the acting president. This past year has been a continuation of pandemic life, as evidenced by our 2nd virtual annual meeting. I want to acknowledge that while 2021 has provided some semblance of the pre-pandemic times, there has been much loss. Whether it's the loss of one of the over 750,000 Americans who have died, the loss of a job or work opportunity, the loss of the normalcy from before the pandemic, or another personal loss, I believe that most people have experienced some loss over the past almost 2 years. Let's take a brief moment to reflect on the losses that have occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for acknowledging the pandemic experience that has occurred. Amherst Media also had 2 staff members leave this year. Faith Gregory left in April, and Jeff Mastrioni left in November. I want to express my appreciation to both Faith and Jeff for their work supporting Amherst Media's missions and wish them best with their next steps. Despite all the challenges of the past year, Amherst Media has been resilient, similar to our community. The facility has been open on a limited basis, and the dedicated staff have continued to provide the government transparency that people expect from Amherst Media. We hired Alexis Reed, who has jumped right in and helped design a new logo for Amherst Media, along with learning on the job. Alexis also stepped up when Jeff left to help Jim cover the workload until a new staff member joins Amherst Media. I look forward to the new staff member joining the team. With the continuation of virtual town meetings, such as the town council, the school committee, and various boards, dedicated Amherst Media staff provided the transparency much needed in local government. The 3 channels have continued to operate so that the community member are informed and able to view the shows, which our producers have continued to put out. Amherst Media provided coverage of the first national celebration of the Juneteenth National Independence Day in Amherst, providing coverage of the placement of the Civil War tablets, the music and events on the Common, and the celebration held in the Mill District allowed the day to be enjoyed by many, even if they were not able to attend in person. Amherst Media also produced discussions with members of the Black community around the Juneteenth celebration to allow these stories to be shared. As 2021 was a local election year, Amherst Media encouraged all local candidates for town council, the Jones Library trustees, and the school committee to provide statements that were posted on the website, allowing all residents to learn more about the candidates' positions. Amherst Media also provided forum discussion about the library building question that was put to the voters, so that the information from both groups was accessible in one place. I believe Amherst Media is doing its best work when the organization provides information to residents to help them engage in democracy thoughtfully. While Amherst Media covered many events this year, the pandemic did impact the amount of revenue that came in from hosting outside events. It is my hope that as the world continues to adjust to pandemic life, that Amherst Media will return to hosting events where community members can join us and continue to build our Amherst Media community. On the capital campaign front, the board of directors has been moving forward on the construction of our new home. One big step is that Amherst Media has paid off the mortgage on the land at Main and Gray Street. Since the purchase of the property in 2013, paying off the mortgage has been a goal of the organization. Thanks to Jim's hard work and the support of the board, this step is now accomplished. Not having a mortgage on the property will leverage collateral in the property for the construction of the new building. Additionally, Amherst Media was awarded 2 grants to assist with the construction of the new facility, a Mass Cultural Council grant and a grant from the Beveridge Family Foundation. Getting support from these organizations shows that people believe in the mission and work of Amherst Media. I ask all of our members and supporters to help build on this momentum and show your support for the Amherst Media Capital Campaign. We need to build on the monetary support provided by the Mass Cultural Council and the Beveridge Family Foundation. Please donate to the Capital Campaign to help Amherst Media realize our new facility. I would like to thank the Board of Director members who have continued to support Amherst Media with our time and talents over the past year. Thank you for your dedication to the organization. I need to thank the Amherst Media staff for their continued work, and a big thank you to Jim for his leadership as the Executive Director. Finally, thank you to the Amherst Media members and community supporters. Our community at Amherst Media is a wonderful group of people who want government transparency and enjoy listening and learning from all the diverse voices that support Amherst Media. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors what you enjoy at Amherst Media. Whether it is watching a locally produced show on one of the 3 cable television channels, perusing a special event on the YouTube channel, appreciating the access to town government meetings, staying informed about our town through different channels, or whatever service that Amherst Media provides you, help grow our community. Thank you all, happy holidays, and stay safe.
Hello, I'm Dan Torres, the acting treasurer of Amherst Media. I'll give you a very short report on the finances of fiscal year 2020, plus an update on the current fiscal year. Last year, Amherst Media experienced a deficit at the end of the year, the first time in many, many years. We ended the year with a deficit in the amount of $35,000. The primary source of this loss was due to the reduction in our Comcast revenues, which is provided by the local cable subscribers. Between fiscal year 2019 and fiscal year 2020, we witnessed the loss of $14,293. While some of the loss of cable revenue can be attributed to the ongoing practice of cord cutting or non-renewal of cable subscriptions, it should be noted that our families and individuals faced severe economic hardships during the COVID-19 pandemic and had to prioritize their limited budgets. Another indicator on how the pandemic affected us is the reduction in our total revenue line item. In fiscal year 2020, our total revenue was $296,700, down from fiscal year 2019, with a loss of $27,854. In the line item Other Revenue, or non-Comcast, we saw a reduction of $13,560. Within this revenue, our production service line item saw a loss of $8,766. Again, a direct result of COVID-19 disengagement with public events. I can leave you with the good news that our production services has already exceeded our budget line item of $15,000. With the securement of grants and memberships, increases as well, we anticipate that at the end of our current fiscal year, we'll be out of the red. Thank you all for your continued support of Amherst Media.
The next step is we have 3 new board members who are going to be or have been nominated to join our board. I'm going to essentially have them introduce themselves. Again, I will unmute the board members, and you can have a chance to go start with there. So, Roz, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Razvan Sibi. I go by Roz, R-A-Z. I am a senior lecturer in journalism at UMass Amherst. I was born and raised in Romania. I lived there until I came here in 2002 for a master's degree at UMass, and the plan was to be here for 2 years and then move on, and that was 20 years ago. So that gives you an idea about my long-term planning capabilities. But somewhere along the way, I picked up a middle-class lifestyle. I got married, I bought a house, I got a job, a cat, a dog, a daughter, and here I am. I teach a lot of different types of journalism courses at UMass. I also teach in jails around the area, especially Hampshire County Jail in Northampton, at least did before COVID, and I'm looking to pick it up again as soon as possible, if not in person, then online. I'm part of many education in prison initiatives. I also try to keep up a publishing schedule as much as I can. I have a monthly column in the Daily Hampshire Gazette about immigration and incarceration, although right now I am on strike with every permanent columnist for the Gazette until the Gazette owners offer their reporters a decent contract. So that's on hiatus. I also write in Romanian for a Romanian audience, a monthly piece, basically explaining America, social cultural issues that animate the American public life. Like Black Lives Matter when that was new on the scene, and a bunch of other things that people don't necessarily understand the history of and the nuances of, and I try to explain that. Explanatory journalism being something that is really close to me. So I look forward to hopefully work with Amherst Media and bring some students over, some new blood to produce content, and anything else that I can do to help. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Jamal Jackson, would you like to go next?
Make sure I unmute. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamal Jackson, and I'm actually, believe it, an Amherst native. I was born in Albany, New York. Myself and my two sisters. My family relocated to the Amherst area in the 80s. I was in grade school at the time. My father accepted the assistant coach in men's basketball with UMass Amherst. So that's what brought my family to this area. Went to Amherst High School, graduated in 1994, went on to college after that, University of New Hampshire. And then I came back for a brief 2-year period after college, after graduation. I coached at Amherst High School, and I taught PE in the local elementary schools. There was Marks Meadows that used to exist right off the UMass campus. I taught there, as well as at Fort River. And then I went to Boston, and I was in Boston for 18 years as a head boys basketball coach at Emmanuel College. I was also the assistant athletic director, and I coordinated recruiting for all the sports there. I stayed there 18 years. 2019, I came back to the area. My father and two of my sisters still live in this area, so it was good to come back. I'm coaching Amherst High School boys basketball again. I train athletes privately. I became a member actually at Amherst Media just under a year ago for a music show that I run. That's actually, it premieres on SoundCloud, a listening platform, but I do all my recording right there in the studio. So I got to know a lot of the staff, and just being back in this area and always being involved with young people. My father and I have run basketball summer camps right at Amherst High School and also Amherst Middle School. We've been doing that going on 30 years now. I started running camps with him as an 8th grader, and I run my own camps now. So having kind of a connection with the young people and the pulse on them in this area is something that's important to me. something that I thought I could kind of be a bridge or a segue between connecting those young people with things that we're going to be doing through Amherst Media. So being asked to join and become a part of this board was quite an honor. So pleased to be back in the area, pleased to be a part of things. I look forward to this year.
Thank you very much, Jamal. Appreciate that. The last new board member that has been asked to join or is joining is Dr. Ruth Bass Green. She is unable to attend tonight, but she has asked that Dee Shabazz provide her bio and update.
Thank you, Artie. Yes, Dr. Ruth Bass Green is actually doing what she loves, which is teaching young people how to play piano and to sing. So she asked me to introduce her. She is a local music educator and church musician for 50 years. Ruth has taught young people piano and voice in the Valley and in California, inspiring them beyond music to build self-confidence and a sense of purpose. Ruth received her BA in music education from California State University in LA in 1971. Probably shouldn't say the years, but master's degree in early childhood education. And then she went on to earn a doctorate, and that's what brought her to Amherst in educational studies from UMass. She is the CEO and president of the Hazel Catherine Bass Institute for the Arts. Dr. Bass Green leads the organization named in honor of her late mother, along with her sisters. And Dr. Bass Green's role as a music educator has allowed her to share her knowledge regarding the important legacy and contributions of the Negro spiritual to American music in her travels around the world. So she wants to convey she's very excited about joining Amherst Media. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee. Thank you to all of the new board members for your interest and excitement in joining us. The current board members are very excited to have you all join us. So we look forward to getting to know you better and working with you over the next year or more as we go from there. So the next part of the video, or the next part, is we're supposed to watch the executive director's report that was pre-recorded, as well as Dee's, Dee's comments about the Tartakovs and then their acceptance.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Lescault. It's been a great honor to have been the executive director of Amherst Media since 2007. For the past 45 years, Amherst Media has been at the forefront of providing the tools and access for all who seek to make themselves heard and seen. This mission has allowed hundreds, if not thousands, of residents and college students of all ages the opportunity to be more than just a consumer of information, but also the creator of programs. Throughout those years, Amherst Media has constantly brought transparency of local government actions to the general public, and when necessary, provided public forums to further understand complex issues such as the town's charter change and more recently the Jones Library renovation. Our vision for the future is to create a new resource for the Amherst community, a facility that will be a hub for government transparency, community media, and meaningful civic dialogue. As you heard, we have paid off the land mortgage, obtained the necessary local authority certificates and reviews, and nearing our goal of attaining the necessary funds to construct our new building, which will include state-of-the-art studios, top-of-the-line technology, and a makerspace, all open to the public. The new Amherst Media will be an engine for creativity, a bastion for free speech, and a catalyst for economic development. We will host community storytelling events, after-school programs, and innovative workshops. We'll be able to provide more community-based programming, space for community gatherings, broadcast original local reporting, and foster engagement and meaningful dialogue amongst the various communities residing in the town of Amherst. We envision a place that's a center where people from truly diverse backgrounds can connect and commingle. This will include genuine intergenerational programming and inclusion of people from a wide range of racial and social economic backgrounds. My fondest memories over the years has been assisting people and organizations in reaching more people through creative programming. Our staff, members, and interns have strived to provide the wider audience a fuller version of what the town of Amherst is and often what Amherst could be. Please continue to show your support by becoming a member and consider making a donation to our capital campaign so we can finalize our long-desired dream of owning our facility. Please remain vigilant in your public health safety practices, and may we all enjoy a more socially and economically just 2022.
Welcome to you all. We are honored to have you with us to celebrate another year, and we thank members, producers, and our executive director and the staff at Amherst Media for the great work done in this community to bring you the means of civic engagement, community events, and local stories. But we are also here to celebrate the work and life of others in the community, such as the two honorees this year for the Jean Haggerty Award, Drs. Carlie and Gary Tartakov. Created in 2009, the award honors the late Jean Haggerty, a beloved producer and board member, dedicated to the betterment of society through service. Each year, the Board of Directors recognizes an individual or organization that believes in and demonstrates the importance of community engagement to obtain social change. Like Jean Haggerty, the Tartakovs demonstrate a sense of community and service to others in all that they do together. This dynamic duo is celebrated not because their accomplishments are too few, but because we have benefited as a community through their lifelong partnership, and that they represent a model of care and deep understanding throughout the valley. The Tartakovs are trailblazers, and for years their knowledge and activism have resulted in creating, supporting multiple institutions and organizations in the two places where they have called home, Amherst and Ames, Iowa. Residents of Amherst since 1968, Drs. Carlie and Gary Tartakov returned permanently after retirement in 2009 from Iowa, where Gary was a faculty member, a professor of art and design, and Carlie, professor in curriculum and instruction at Iowa State University. Fortunate for us, they never gave up their home in Amherst. Starting as a teacher, Carlie has taught for over 23 years in California, Amherst, and Iowa. Many know her as an elementary school teacher, teaching at Wildwood Elementary School. Later, she taught at Iowa State University, where she received the Virgil Lagomarsino Award for Distinguished Achievement in the Field of Education, implementing the school's Dialogues on Diversity program. Carlie was also inducted into the Iowa African American Hall of Fame in 2007. Iowa State University named two scholarships in their honor, the Design Scholarship for Study Abroad and the Promoting Equity in Education Scholarship. And in the 1990s, Carlie and Gary helped to start the African American Studies program at Iowa State, with Gary serving as the interim director from 2001 to 2003. However, prior to leaving for Iowa, Carlie was one of the founders of A Better Chance, a national residential high school program that has for over 50 years provided housing, mentorship, and prepared young people from underserved school districts for college and future leadership roles. After their return in 2009, the Tartakovs joined Town Meeting and other organizations dedicated to service and social justice. One of those organizations that benefited from their involvement was the Justice for Charles campaign in 2010, which helped to exonerate and free a Springfield man, Charles Wilhite, who was wrongfully convicted of first-degree murder. Carlie continues to teach and educate in the Valley through the Sojourner Truth School for Social Change Leadership, and her co-produced award-winning segment, Black in the Valley, broadcast twice a month during the Bill Newman Show on WHMP. Dr. Carlie Tartakov, an historian of India's Dalit art, has for years made the important connection between artistic expression to struggles for dignity and human rights in both India and in the US. His book, Dalit Art and Visual Imagery, published in 2013, is an examination of the Dalits' modest response to caste oppression through the use of visual imagery. As Dalits, the people until recently known as untouchables, have used public sculpture and a variety of pictorial forms in their struggle for social and economic justice. Carlie began teaching at the University of Massachusetts during the turbulent period of the 1960s and took part in protests and in the changes brought on by the civil rights and anti-Vietnam War movements. Carlie and Carlie joined with the late Dr. Randolph Brommery, former chancellor of UMass Amherst, to bring about the first chapter of the NAACP, and Carlie served as the first secretary of the organization. As a former town meeting member, Carlie knows the importance of civic engagement and over the years has contributed multiple editorials and several letters of note to the editor on race, education, and town priorities. Never ones to cease educating and contributing to the community. Most recently, Carlie and Carlie joined a small ad hoc committee to help take out of storage and display the Civil War memorial plaques, inscribed with the names of the 300 Amherst residents who fought on behalf of the Union Army, including African American residents who were members of the famed 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Regiment and 5th Cavalry. Like Jean Haggerty, the Tartakovs demonstrate a sense of community and service to others in all that they do together. So on behalf of Amherst Media Board of Directors, we are thrilled to award the Tartakovs the 2021 Jean Haggerty Award for Community Service for their contributions to our community and their role in making it a more caring place to live and grow. Thank you.
First of all, we want to thank the Board of Amherst Media for thinking of us and presenting us with the Jean Haggerty Award. It is difficult to imagine a more appropriate institution to be recognized by for work which is so important to us. Carlie and I both arrived in Amherst in the fall of 1968, the year of Dr. King's assassination, and the protests at the top Democratic Party's convention in Chicago. We both grew up during the 1940s and 1950s as the civil rights struggle of African Americans took the center of the American political stage, our democratic society's center stage. As we grew into adulthood in the 1960s, we were each confronted with a recognition of the contrast between the American dream depicted in public discourse and the media, and the American reality. Not only us, but everyone else in the country was starting to become unable to ignore it. Growing up, you spend your time trying to figure out how to live in the world. That is, what this place is and how we're supposed to act within it. And then around the time you finish your schooling, you have to take your place in it. We were both trained as teachers and faced with the prospect of explaining the world to others. And we both found ourselves faced with the same difficulty of not just what to do, but what to say to others in such a violent and unjust world. And that is what directed us in the direction of social justice activism, and I suppose what brought us to the attention of Amherst Media. For as we all know, silence is complicity. Silence and inaction in the face of injustice contribute to the continuing of injustice. I don't believe we'll be able to stop the impending climate destruction faced by all of humanity if those of us not blindly addicted to our current lifestyles cannot convince those who are that we have to change.
As adults, we lose the defense of not having to take sides as we try to figure out what is going on. As citizens in a democracy, we are each responsible for our contribution to the progress of our community and our nation. Democracy just isn't about enjoying the opportunities we have inherited. It is also about what we will contribute to the community. And we both realize that sitting back and failing to act on the injustice that surrounds us cannot help but contribute to it. Taking our place in the world, it becomes our duty to act in the world. And we have the choice of becoming complicit in the world as it is, taking our share in the present day's terrible realities, or working for a change in those realities. By the time we reached Amherst, we were parents as well as teachers, and faced with talking to our children as well as talking in class every day and walking through the world of Jim Crow, where African Americans were being impoverished and incarcerated as a matter of government policy, while our nation was making war on another tiny nation half a world away and killing not only Vietnamese, but the children of our own Black, brown, indigenous, and working class communities in order to maintain the myth that those people were a danger to our national success. And for both of us, there was no choice but to stand up and tell the truth, and then learn to organize with others to teach that truth and to act on it. In doing this, we have embraced the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. This is how Gary and I have worked together. And this is why we believe that institutions of popular communication, such as Amherst Media, are absolutely crucial to our struggle for justice and peace in this world we share. We believe that the purpose of Amherst Media as a community activity is to bring us together, to help develop our understanding of the world, and to share that understanding with the community in the effort to create a world where everyone can share equally in its opportunities and benefits, and to take the advice of Sojourner Truth, who said, when addressing a convention on women's suffrage, that she was for keeping the thing going while things are stirring. Because if we wait till it is still, it will take a great while to get it going again.
It is much deserved. It is much deserved. D, is there, so again, according to the schedule, I think it's sort of, is there any, do we want to open this up for any comments or suggestions or things, or are we moving on here?
So we would follow the agenda, but if folks would like to share maybe their words about Carlie and Gary winning the Community Service Award, that would be awesome, particularly since we're not able to be in the same room together, which we would normally, as the former president, Artie, is serving as president now. So some of the traditions would have been for us to share words about our awardees. So I've already said mine, and mine are recorded, but if folks would like to share brief words about our Jean Haggerty awardees, Doctors Carlie and Gary Tartakov, we could take a few minutes to do so. anyone wants to raise their hand and share a few words about them.
Most people have left and they're muted.
Yes, they can unmute themselves though, I believe.
We did.
Yeah, we.
So this is Vera. Hi everyone. Hi friends. I gushed over the both of you this on my Facebook this morning, and you all know how I feel about you. And I think you came into my family's life in a time where we were doing just really wide outreach, and you came to support us and to help free an innocent man of a life without the possibility of parole sentence. So just thoroughly enjoyed your solidarity. You are not just fair weather friends. You definitely come out in the storms. I will always remember, coming out early in the morning before dawn in Springfield, just to catch any news crew or whatever. And we did just that. And it was raining, it was cold sometimes, and it was dark, but we were out there, and I really thoroughly appreciate that beginning of our relationship together, and has taken us on so many journeys. And thank you so much for the memories.
Like Laura Lister, thank you, Vera. Laura, would you like to say a few words about Carlie and Gary?
Okay, so I'm prejudiced because these are my parents, but I do want to say that my parents have inspired and been a model of activism and of, just doing the work for me, for my family, for so many people that I know. And I admire them, and I'm grateful to them. And I love seeing them honored together in this way, because they are such an example of how a collaboration between, family members, between people who love each other, can really be such a powerful influence on, family and on community and on the world. I love these people, and I thank them very much.
We love
Like
you
to
too.
share? Oh, did you hear that, Laura? I think
I said we love you too, and are proud of her because she is a social activist as well.
she is. Katie.
I just want to thank you for being in Amherst. I mean, what a gem to have you here. You span various generations, various issues, and you're a connecting force. If I'm at an event and you're there, I know I'm in the right place. So I just thank you for being the leaders that you are, and for people to look to hopefully follow your lead. So thank you for all the time and effort and commitment you put into the various initiatives in which you're involved. It's something to strive for.
Speaking as the other half of another dynamic duo with Artie McCollum, our new president. Yes. Katie Ladowski is his partner. So thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Oh.
Hello, it's the granddaughter here. I just wanted to say, I was thinking back on something that was really powerful to me, during the COVID time. That was also when a lot of the protests around Black Lives Matter was happening. And I know that it was really difficult for my grandparents who have been working towards this cause forever, to figure out whether to go or not. And I was just so inspired by the fact that they would go, in their cars and protest, that they were still being involved, but being safe. And it just, it's kind of the resilience that they have has been just so inspiring, and being able to adapt to, a time where they needed to balance that, that really stuck with me. And then the other thing is just over the last, the Trump administration and the challenges that we've had over this last 4 years, they have been the ones that have been so hopeful. And I think that says a lot. They've worked their entire lives towards this. And, I was kind of going to them for strength. And so they're just amazing.
Echo that. We've all gone to them for strength in this community. Anyone else? Well, Artie, I'm not trying to take over the meeting. I just thought it was important to hear some of the folks who were here to celebrate Gary and Carlie.
Yeah, no, you're great.
Well, I'll let you continue. And I know that we're probably coming to the end of our meeting. So for everyone to understand who has not been a member of Amherst Media, by our bylaws, we are required to do an annual meeting that is a public meeting where both members and the public are invited in. And so you have the honor of witnessing what we do. But of course, it's an extra celebration because we take this moment, of course, to recognize those who have contributed to community service, such as Gary and Carlie. So thank you so much for being here. And Artie, take it away.
Well, I was going to say, so Adrienne had her hand up. Would you like to add something? Please do.
Sure, I just want to say what a pleasure it is to know Carlie and Gary. And as I read the article the other day, I learned even more about their activism. And oh my gosh, just awesome. And I'm so happy to know you both and everybody else. I'm over here in Northampton, but I stay connected to Amherst. So yeah, kudos to you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, anybody else want to add anything?
I will. This is Amy, bookbinder. I'm over here in Northampton too, and I want to say ditto to what many of you have said. And I'm not a speaker, so I will just say I'm sending you all my love. It's always a joy to see both of you. I love you.
It's hard to find the words.
It's wonderful to be honored by people you really respect. I see all these other activists and people who I really appreciate being at places with and working with. So I really thank you all for coming.
Very much.
Anyone else would like to speak? If not, I think, could we introduce our board members who are present right now, Artie?
Sure.
To the public?
Sure. So yeah, does anybody else want to add anything? Otherwise, we will do board member introductions. Okay, so I can start. I'm Artie McCollum. I'm the acting president of Amrush Media. Vera, would you like to?
On the board? How long have you been on the board, Artie?
I have been on the board for 2 years now. And I have learned a lot. Again, I'm always a learning experience here. So I'm appreciative of Dee and Vera's institutional knowledge for sure. So thank you for that. Vera, would you like to go next?
Sure. Vera Dwomini Cage. I've been on for a few years now. I was a school committee member appointee. and that has since been transferred over to Benjamin Harrington, who is not with us tonight because they're busy with their own meeting, Amherst School Committee. But it's so nice to see everyone here.
Artie?
Dee, I think you're the next one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Dan was here.
Dan has been having some technical difficulties.
okay.
I've been texting with Dan this evening, but he's having technical issues.
I'll introduce myself, and then I see that Ed Severance is here as well. So I'll first introduce myself. I've been on the board probably a total of 7 years. When I arrived in Amherst, I looked for the local access station. I'm a longtime member and contributor, producer to access stations. So I was first a member and a producer, and then I joined the board because I wanted to give back and serve, and I've been doing so ever since. And I'm just so glad to have you all here at our meeting and to understand some of the things that we do. We are undergoing some transformations in terms of the software and things like that at the station, and it's local access, but we do both public and education and government programming. And our mission and our goals are not only to educate, but to keep government transparent and to keep news local. And we do a great job of that. So thank you again for being here. Ed Severance?
Oops. Sorry, everybody. I kept the camera off because my screen's been kind of messed up. It looks normal to me, but I know out there it looks like a 1957 television. I want to thank you. I took a little bit of a hiatus this year. I've been on the board for, I guess, 14 years now. Back in, I think it was July, I decided to take a little time off to work on the business I'm in. But I'm glad to be back. I was treasurer for 12 out of 14 years, and I wasn't allowed to be treasurer this year because the bylaws say you can only do it for 6 years and then you take a year off. So that's why I took a little time off. But I'm glad to be back. I'm very glad to work on the building committee as well as the finance committee again, and looking forward to a great new year with a great new board.
Thank you, Ed. We're glad to have you back, for sure. The other, again, there were 2 members that are not able to join us tonight. Vera mentioned Ben Harrington is the school committee representative. So he has been on the board for, I think, about 1.5 years now. He started a little bit after I did, but he is, again, an active board member who has been helping us out and is that representative to the school committee that is very important to Amherst Media to have. So the other person that we have is Dan Torres, who was, again, works in radio in Northampton, but has been involved in Amherst Media for many years as a volunteer and a member and involvement. So he has been as there, but again, was unable to attend as having some technical difficulties on his end to join the meeting, unfortunately. You met, again, the other 3 new board members, which we're very excited to have joined the board. And I think that's all we've got at this point, right, Dee?
Yes, but I just want to make a quick pitch that we're always looking for new board members, particularly if you're interested in serving on our board. We are, of course, on our way to building our new building. We have, as the treasurer's report, I think, alluded to, we've paid off our property that we purchased in 2013. And so we're looking forward to spring in building our new building. It's been a long time coming, but Amherst Media really deserves a permanent home. And we so appreciate all the contributions that folks have made to help us reach that moment. So thank you again. And I think we're going to probably have our regular part of the board meeting. So the rest will be extremely boring, but you're welcome to stay on with us. So if our members could stay on and we have to take care of some of the other business for the board, such as voting for president. As we said, Artie is our acting president, but we have to nominate someone and vote them on permanently for the 3-year stint. And what else do we have to do, Artie? I think that's.
I mean, I think, yeah, we have to vote on board members, right? So I think it's the president and vice president, and then, I mean, I guess the other question is we have Yumi, Vera, Raz, Jamal, that's 5, so Ed is 6, so I guess we have a quorum, so.
I don't think I can vote until I'm appointed, guys.
So what I think is what we need to do, I guess, is probably wait and have another meeting and vote everyone on once we have quorum, and that will mean having Dan there and Ben.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because I know if Dan is, yeah, exactly. If Dan and Ben can't join, so I will send out a note to everybody to try and find a time next week where we can have a board meeting to officially vote formally on these nominations.
All right, well.
Are you guys gonna officially close the meeting?
Yeah, just a second. All right. So.
Bye, Carlie and Gary. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank everybody for joining us. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we appreciate the support of everybody and look forward to connecting with you. Thank you again.